It was not all that long ago that the only way to travel across the immense wilderness of what is now Canada was by canoe. Invented by the First Nations and later used by Europeans for trade and for mapping this beautiful country, there would be no Canada without the canoe. Now, with the Canadian Canoe Route road trip, you can enjoy a true Canadian experience by paddling the rivers and lakes of the Ontario Highlands while learning about the history of this Canadian icon.
We're Matt and Carla, a Canadian couple with two totally different backgrounds, sharing our experience and advice about traveling in Canada.
So follow along as we continue to explore the second largest country on Earth. What a beautiful morning here on Rice Lake, Ontario. We're here for the Canadian Canoe Route experience to learn all about this Canadian icon. And it's pretty crazy to think that yesterday we flew all the way from Calgary to Toronto in just 4 hours, crossing pretty much more than half of Canada. But it wasn't that long ago that the only way to get across this country would have been in a canoe, which probably would have taken many weeks or many months. So this is day one. We checked into Elmhirst Lodge last night. We got ourselves a beautiful lakefront cottage. Got to have barbecue with live music, and now we're up bright and early to enjoy a paddle on the lake pretty much all to ourselves. You can actually hear some fish nearby, got some birds. Really beautiful way to start the day. But we actually have to get back to the dock now because we're heading to the Canadian Canoe Museum. The Canadian Canoe Museum is home to the world's largest collection of canoes, kayaks, and paddled watercrafts, where you can learn about their enduring significance to the people of Canada. With over 100 artifacts on display, we got to see many different styles of canoes and kayaks while learning about their Indigenous origins and their transformation over the years, from the massive canoes used by the European explorers to the modern designs used today. We also got to carve our own canoe paddle and see renderings of the new Canadian Canoe Museum, which will open up in 2023. We're here at the Madawaska Canoe Centre, a Canadian signature experience and a mecca for anyone wanting to learn kayaking and canoe skills. We're really excited to be here and we can't wait to see what it's all about.
We got here right at supper time and it was delicious, and this is our accommodation for tonight, a glamping tent. And there's other kinds of accommodation here. There's a lot of campsites where you bring your own tent, as well as cabanas, a lodge, and a dorm room. Of course, all of them have a shared bathroom, but we gotta go to bed soon because tomorrow is our one-day paddling course called Zero to Hero.
Let's go. The canoes we're using for whitewater are quite a bit different than the ones on flatwater. They actually have like flotation devices inside so that when it goes upside down, it actually stays above the water. As well as these to hold our knees in place, and these for the knees so they're not rubbing on the bottom of the canoe. So sounds like we're probably going to be getting wet today.
Well, we're doing so good that we're going to the next level of rapids.
Up, up, up.
Wow.
Oh my goodness! See heavy?
Portage time. Carla has the easy job. She just has to hold the GoPro.
What do you mean easy? I need to... I'm filming. That's the most important.
You might as well ride on top of the canoe, Carla. Get on.
Now we're going on the third level in our course. We're actually gonna go down Rapid Class 2.
This one looks a little bit nerve-wracking, I must say.
But also exciting.
You gotta think quick.
Oh my god, I'm enjoying this instruction so much. What about you, Matthew?
Yeah, it's awesome. Like, I'll definitely have more confidence in a canoe.
Yes, me too. Well, this was an awesome day and it's all done.
Don't worry though, our next activity is rafting.
I know.
Well, we've made it to Owl Rafting. This is where we're going to be staying for the next couple of nights, and we're going to be glamping again. And we've actually been here once before, not to the accommodation, but we did some rafting when we did our 150-day road trip back in 2017. So we're pretty excited to be back. And this time we have a wristband because we're staying here. This includes all our meals during the 2 nights we're here. And right now, actually, we just heard the bell not too long ago, so we got to go eat. Well, now it's time for some snacks and some cliff jumping.
I remember this part. I'm more afraid about this part than the actual rafting. I don't know, because I don't like jumping so high.
That's why they say just don't think about it, just run off, jump.
Yeah, like
Plus we have no time, we're on schedule.
Okay, go. This is the cliff we jump off.
Not every day this happens on a rafting trip. No more paddling. Well, that's it for our stay here. It's been such a great time, and I can really tell you that this is a true Canadian experience that I really recommend everyone enjoy. Not only is it a communal experience where you meet other people from across Canada and abroad, but it's just the true way to enjoy our lakes and rivers. It's just such a beautiful experience. We really wish we could stay longer. We're definitely going to be back, but right now we got to head to Ottawa.
Located behind the Canadian Museum of History is Indigenous Experiences, which offers a glimpse into the local Indigenous history and culture, such as how their canoes were made, the tools they used before and after colonization, their different kinds of shelters, some of their crafts, and so much more. We even got to see a hook dancing demonstration. That was a very interesting tour. We loved learning more and more about Indigenous culture and how they used to live off the land. But now it's time to explore the museum.
As Canada's most popular museum, the Canadian Museum of History is truly a work of art. There's no better place to learn about the history of Canada, with a number of spectacular ongoing exhibitions such as the Grand Hall, which is home to a stunning collection of totem poles, the First Peoples Hall, which celebrates the history, diversity, creativity, resourcefulness, and endurance of Canada's First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples, and the Canadian History Hall, which unveils the events, personalities, and historical currents that have shaped Canada from time immemorial to the present day. We love this museum and we visit every time we come to the nation's capital. Well, we're now heading to our final stop on our Canadian canoe route. We're going to be going to Perth, Ontario, and you can actually access that via the Rideau Canal, as well as I think some other rivers along the way. And that's what I've just been thinking about, how we've been driving there right now. I don't know how long it would have taken back in the day on a canoe to reach these areas, but now we're traveling in an electric car. And it's just kind of crazy how far we've progressed in terms of technology. But as one person said, the canoe was silent, and so is the electric car.
We're glad we made it to Perth because we never imagined that it's such a beautiful and quaint town, and we couldn't pass the opportunity to take a canoe out on the water again. We're now on the Tay Canal, which is actually linked to the Rideau Canal, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's time to leave, and this was our last stop on the Canadian canoe route, and this is an experience you shouldn't miss.
Yeah, and I think it makes you feel a little more Canadian, right?
Of course, because you learn so much about Canada's history, and it was so much fun to learn how to paddle.
And now we feel like pros, we want to get our own canoe. So whether you're Canadian or from abroad, this is definitely a road trip to take, because not only do you get to travel by road and by water, you get to learn about the importance of the canoe in Canada's history and have some fun while you're at it. So what we'd recommend doing is printing off the Canadian Canoe Route passport. You put it together like a passport, and then there's stamps you get along the way. So there's 6 in total as of now. We got 5 of them. The only one we missed, unfortunately, was the Algonquin Cultural Center. We really wish we could have visited, but it was closed at this time. But that just means we have to come back. And that's actually how they kind of designed this. They don't expect you to do it all in one time, but if you can, why not? So if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, and to learn more about the Canadian Canoe Route or other parts of Canada, just visit our website at mustdocanada.com. We just arrived at Toronto Airport to begin a road trip, and we got to the front desk and they were like, oh, we're out of cars right now, we just need to clean a few if you can wait. And it looks like the only one they had left was a Tesla, which is pretty awesome. We didn't book one, so it's definitely a pretty surprising upgrade. We've never driven one, I've never even plugged in an electric car before, so this should be an interesting experience.